going through all these, culling down to, this set of images, like how many different versions of everything and all the stuff.
I'm sure we didn't save everything either. Probably a lot more.
Yeah,
Final armory.
Yeah.
Could have been higher res.
We talked about the alien design. Where did the marine designs come from?
We didn't talk about that too much, did we?
Yeah.
It was always easier because it was based in humans.
Yeah.
And near future humans are
kind
easier
of
to visualize.
quickly. I mean, I think a lot of this just because, given the time constraints, the fact that we're just doing this on our own, kind of free time, like after work, and little bit by little bit. I don't know. I think some of the things kind of got rushed in without really sitting down and working it out as solidly as we would
as
now.
You would have in the studio. Well, even now though, we have limited resources.
Yeah.
We can't just. We can't sit down and do 10 concepts and pick the best one. We do like one or two. And
so
pick the best one.
like that marine concept that I did. That was like my first ever Photoshop painting, I think. And like, it was basically just kind of practice for me painting, and then I was kind of thinking of the marine too for NS, but we kind of like went with it. But normally we do a lot more iterations of that, and I think kind of we worked closely with the modeler for it, and we kind of went back and forth and made a lot of changes. So even like looking at that concept, what the final model ended up being was kind of revised from that. Plus, then I went into the model, made some changes when I was doing the texture on it. So kind of pulling it, further. But it's kind of why, like, even now I'm not really, not happy with the original Marine. Kind of wanted to revise it for NS too. So
I think there's definitely distinctive elements, like this and the last image. There's like definitely a lot of shapes and like the segmented metal thing there.
Yeah.
It's kind of organic.
Yeah.
It's like a pill bug or something.
Yeah. I actually kind of like was in some ways moved.
Actually, even like just the way that thing opens up.
It's like a flower opening.
Flower.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
And you can see like the color scheme. We kind of hit on that pretty early on with the green and kind of military green, which seemed kind of different than actually a lot of the color schemes and a lot of space games,
it's a lot
which is
more
kind of gray or blue or black, and so
I guess that's like sci-fi is such overdone thing that you really have to make an effort to differentiate yourself visually.
Definitely. And even our organic techno aesthetic, the blend between the two on both sides, it's probably been done a million times. But hopefully we do it just slightly differently.
So these are some more recent concepts.
Now amputees, on the other hand.
Never there's a reason for that.
Yeah. So this one, you can see Corey's skill obviously increasing a lot. When did you do this? Like 2 years ago, I guess?
No, not like a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago, maybe.
Can't remember. This is for the
maybe it was almost 2 years ago.
The mining, for the mining vehicle outside the window on Machina.
So different concepts for it. We went with the top one there was what was eventually used.
So that was nice. You got to do a whole bunch of them there.
Yeah.
Yep. Six different ones and choose the best.
Yeah, that's more the way you should be doing concept work, like just a lot more iterations and different, a bunch of different early designs to choose from, and then you kind of pick the best direction and then iterate on that more, and then
it looks like
end
you
up with your final.
Quite a bit of work into each of these drawings.
Yeah.
Is that the way you normally do it, or?
These are a lot faster than a lot of some of the other concepts, but these are done pretty quickly.
Like how much time do you think for each one? A couple hours?
Yeah.
At least 4?
No, not that long.
2?
Some were like
3?
maybe an hour. They started with really quick sketches.
Right.
And then once I got the shape, and then that one would be worked with a little bit more detail, and then quick color pass on it. So some of those would be like maybe an hour and a half.
Where do you come up with the shapes? Do you look at a bunch of reference stuff?
Yeah, everybody has their own process of working, but in general, like most concept artists, we just have so many like folders filled with references. We have so many reference books, like our desks are just cluttered with them. So just a lot to draw on for inspiration. Whatever you see something cool, you just download it and save it, and then you can go back to it later, and it can work for something. So for like the aliens on this, I was looking through a lot of animal books, different so a lot of them are based, parts of them are based on actual existing animals, which always lends a little bit more believability.
You want to talk about this marine design, or I guess we already covered it for the most part.
Yeah, I mean the marine went through a bunch of changes initially too. I remember just based on various feedback, and I remember the version before this he had like an exposed neck, and we covered that.
He still does actually.
Yeah, it's not armor, but. We didn't want him totally armored up, but I think it was actually just like skin showing. And it felt like it was too
Conan the Barbarian.
Yeah, a little too unprotected and felt.
Well, my big thing about the Marines is I have no idea if this makes sense, but I always wanted this. I wanted skin to be showing.
Yeah.
Well, and the reason why is because you might share humanity with something that you can identify as human, whereas if it's completely covered in armor, I feel like there might be less empathy among the team and less teamwork, actually. I have no idea if that makes any sense, but...
So then this is just kind of, you can see the old and the new. So this is the latest version of the Marine for NS2, and kind of it was an opportunity for me to go back and fix some of the things that I wasn't happy with in some of the original design.
Like what? Helmet?
Yeah, the helmet, we never really liked.
That was kind of that thing you were talking about, right? Covering up the player's face. You lose the humanity.
Yep.
Yeah, I think a lot of people felt the original helmet was too RoboCop-like or something. And
it was. Is that Max's turn?
No, but that's funny.
It's true, though.
It is true. It's kind of RoboCop.
Like the knee pads never worked right. The way they were modeled and textured, they're a little weird. So just kind of the torso armor is different, and
it looks more insect-like actually, which I really like.
Yeah, I've been more and more like pulling the insect stuff, like not like before. Originally, we had wanted that for the aliens. We had talked about it, and then kind of pulling back from that, and the aliens less of that, but more into the marine side and their technology. Kind of work that look into it, I think. So
nice, looks beautiful.
Yeah, you keep going with the compliments.
It's true. I'm totally serious.
So this was just, you can see a lot of different iterations for the helmet. So the top one on the left, obviously, that's like taking the old NS helmet and kind of revising it, updating a little bit, but it was still that same visor look that people didn't really care for. So I did a bunch of other iterations as well.
It's pretty hard to decide on this. These were all pretty cool.
Except the exposed hair one in the lower right. Those two. I think I don't like those. They're too 80s. Maybe it's the hairstyle.
It's the hair, yeah.
Yeah.
She needs leg warmers.
Or a mullet.
That's a neat concept, though.
Yeah,
it is neat.
The helmet would retract, so you'd...
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah,
I
so
see.
basically,
Okay,
on the far left is the battle mode, and then you can have different, the visor can go up, and then the rest of the helmets retracts back inside there. So when you're not in battle, and the helmets are hot, so you want to be able to,
Gotcha.
So rather than having to take the whole thing off.
Damn, that'd be pretty sweet. And it could I
think I wrote a blog entry about
I didn't really read that. That's cool. I just immediately discounted it because of the mullet potential.
Mm. And yeah, this was the designs for the rail car, and then also a lot of these so it's kind of I was just kind of brainstorming a lot of props. Like we needed different props. I was trying to think of different things that could be interesting, have gameplay potential. So I figured, some kind of rail car thing where your team can ride on it. I mean, we had elevators in the first NS, so this is similar in some aspects of the way it would work gameplay wise, but. And then
of course we ended up by removing most of the elevators.
Yeah,
or like the airlock versions.
Yeah,
it was kind of a fun thing.
Oh, it was awesome.
Everyone jumps the airlock, but it did end up
awesome.
It was good. It was good sometimes.
Yeah, it had its moments.
So like a concept like this, I mean, I've got the a lot of faster black and white iterations of different rail car concepts, and then I just did some environment paintings using those different concepts in them. So those were more for, both to get a sense of what the rail car would look like in an environment, but also just to help out with to help the texture artists and other people working on NS to get a sense for, lighting and textures and some of the detail that could be in the new maps.
Yeah, the rest of the team could make tons of textures off this. Every time, and they have. Every time they see one of these, they get